What I'm about to describe is not a rumor or exaggerated report. This is a real tactical disaster unfolding inside Kherson, where Putin's army, nearly 80,000 strong, walked straight into a trap they never saw coming. For weeks, Russian commanders believed Kherson was secure, believing their supply lines were strong, their escape routes protected, and their positions unbreakable. But Ukraine had been tracking every convoy, every rotation, every fuel truck and ammunition delivery with silent precision, waiting for the perfect moment to close the jaws of a massive encirclement. Kherson is not just a city. It is a natural cage, surrounded by waterways, floodplains, narrow roads, and the massive Dnipro River, which becomes a deadly barrier when water levels rise. Something Ukraine anticipated long before Russia realized their vulnerability. Then, under the cover of darkness, Ukraine launched the first phase, HIMARS and M-70 strikes, hammering the Antonivsky Bridge, the rail bridge, pontoon crossings, and ferry routes, turning every escape path into twisted concrete and burning metal. Rising floodwaters drowned Russia's backup routes as Ukrainian drones, FPVs, thermal scouts, high-altitude observers filled the sky like a curtain of eyes, tracking every movement, marking every vehicle, calling in devastating artillery fire that shredded convoys before they could even form. Russian engineers attempted to restore crossings, but Ukraine obliterated every repair, every pontoon, every ferry within minutes, with escape routes collapsing, logistics crumbling, and food, fuel, and ammunition deliveries dropping to almost zero. Russian soldiers inside Kherson found themselves isolated, cut off from reinforcements, supplies, and medical evacuation. Every breakout attempt ended in disaster as Ukrainian gunners unleashed guided cluster strikes on narrow roads, destroying armored columns and scattering surviving troops into tree lines, where drone-guided artillery awaited them. Communication broke down, morale shattered. Units reported running out of rations. Fuel tanks froze, artillery positions went silent, and commanders began fleeing deeper into defensive pockets that no longer mattered, because Ukraine had already turned Kherson into a steel cage. Psychological warfare began, Ukrainian radio broadcasts telling Russian soldiers they were abandoned, surrounded, and out of options, pushing some to surrender and others to panic. Then came the final blow: precision Excalibur shells, FPV swarms, GMLRS strikes, and drone-guided barrages that destroyed Russian headquarters, detonated ammunition depots, burned fuel stockpiles, and collapsed the last functioning resistance nodes. By the fourth day, Russia had lost hundreds of vehicles, entire brigades worth of equipment, mountains of ammunition, all escape routes over the river, and most devastating of all, its foothold in the region. But the true lesson was even larger. Ukraine proved it no longer needs to engage massive Russian formations head-on. It can isolate them, starve them, confuse them, and collapse them through precision, intelligence, and patience. Kherson became the ultimate demonstration that when Russia's logistics fail, when their bridges fall, when their routes close, their entire war machine becomes nothing more than a mobile target waiting to be dismantled. And now Putin's forces in Kherson are living proof that a modern army doesn't lose only when it is defeated in battle. Sometimes it loses when it realizes too late that every path to survival has already been erased.